Hey, everyone, and welcome back. We're diving into something really important today.
Mm-hmm.
It's the NETI AAYOG annual report.
Huh.
You know, the one for 2023-24.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
I know when you hear government report, you think boring,
Mm-hmm.
but trust me, this one.
Oh, yeah.
This one is packed with insights
Absolutely.
into how India is tackling some of its biggest challenges.
It is.
And honestly, it's way more interesting than you might think.
I agree.
We're talking about everything.
Yeah.
From boosting rural development
Mm-hmm.
and promoting sustainable farming practices
Right.
to,
Yeah.
revolutionizing healthcare, using technology,
Of course.
and making our cities smarter and greener.
It's true. It's a real treasure trove of information.
It is.
And it really showcases how much AAYOG's role has expanded since it took over from the old planning commission.
But it's not just about 5-year plans anymore.
Exactly.
So for those who might not be super familiar, could you give us a quick rundown of what NITI is all about?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So NITI stands for National Institution for Transforming India.
Okay.
And you can think of it as the government's top think tank, but with a much broader mandate.
Okay.
It's not just coming up with ideas.
Right.
It's working very closely with states to actually turn those ideas into action.
So it's a much more collaborative approach to development.
Exactly. One of their core principles is something called cooperative federalism,
Okay.
which basically means Team India working together,
I like it.
the central government,
Yeah.
the states,
Mm-hmm.
and even local communities,
Okay.
all pulling in the same direction to achieve those national goals.
Okay, I'm liking this teamwork approach.
Yeah.
But how does that actually play out in practice?
Well, let's take the Aspirational Districts program as a prime example.
Okay.
So NITI identified 112 districts across India
Wow.
that were lagging behind in terms of development. And they launched this program specifically to accelerate progress in those areas.
So instead of just throwing money at the problem,
Right.
they're taking a more targeted
Yeah.
and data-driven approach.
Precisely.
Okay.
So they're focusing on 49 key indicators.
Wow.
Things like health and education,
Hmm.
infrastructure, financial inclusion,
Really?
and they're using real-time data to track progress
Right.
and identify areas where interventions are really needed the most.
So it's almost like they've created a dashboard for development
Yeah.
where they can see exactly what's working and what's not.
Exactly. And to make things even more interesting,
Okay.
they've introduced a competitive element.
Oh,
It's called the Champions of Change dashboard.
I like that.
And it allows districts to see how they're performing compared to
Yeah.
others. And this friendly competition is
Yeah.
actually driving a lot of positive change.
I bet a little healthy competition never hurts, right?
Exactly.
But what about those districts that are divided into blocks?
Does the program extend to those areas as well?
Great question, and you anticipated my next point.
Okay.
They recognized that there was a need to go even deeper.
Okay.
So they expanded the program
Oh,
to
I see.
include what's called the Aspirational Blocks program,
Okay.
bringing the total to 500 blocks across the country.
Wow.
They're really committed to
Yeah.
reaching
Okay.
even the most remote and underdeveloped areas.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're really invested in this bottom-up approach to development, empowering communities to take charge of their own progress.
Absolutely. And they also understand the importance of celebrating success.
Right.
So every year, they organize a week-long event
Okay.
called Sankalp Saptah
Oh, wow.
to showcase the achievements of these aspirational districts and blocks.
So it's not just about setting targets and tracking data. It's about recognizing and sharing those inspiring success stories.
Exactly. It's a fantastic way to motivate everyone involved
Yeah.
and create that sense of shared purpose. I love that. So we've talked about this Aspirational Districts program,
Right.
but is there more to NITI Aayog's role in supporting the states?
Oh, there's a lot more.
Okay.
They have a dedicated state support mission
Okay.
to help states align their own development strategies with national priorities
Okay.
and to leverage their own unique strengths.
So it's a more customized approach,
Yeah,
recognizing that each state has its own set of challenges and opportunities.
precisely. And to further empower states, and AAYOG encourages them
Okay.
to actually set up their own think tanks,
Oh, wow.
which are called State Institutions for Transformation, or SETs.
So it's like a mini NITI Aayog within each state.
You got it.
Okay.
These SITs can provide expert advice, They conduct research.
Okay.
And they help states develop much more effective policies.
Wow. And to make sure that all of this decision-making is based on solid evidence,
Yes.
they've created the NITI for States platform.
Right.
What is that, like a giant online library of resources for state governments?
Right. Exactly. It's a treasure trove of information.
Okay.
Best practices, policy documents, data insights,
Wow.
all readily available
Yeah.
to help states make those informed decisions.
Well, it seems like they've thought of everything.
They try.
But this is just their work with the states, right?
Well,
I'm guessing this report covers a lot more ground.
oh, we've only just scratched the surface.
Okay.
NITI is involved in a wide range of sectors,
Okay.
driving progress across the board.
Well, then let's not waste any more time.
Let's do it.
I'm ready to dive deeper into what they've been up to.
Okay.
What's next on our agenda?
Well, next up, we'll take a whirlwind tour
Okay.
of NITI's sectoral achievements,
All right.
where you'll see just how far-reaching their impact really is.
Okay.
Get ready for some fascinating insights
All right.
into everything from agriculture and education to electric mobility and healthcare innovation.
Sounds exciting. I can't wait.
Let's go.
All right, let's dive into those sectoral achievements. You mentioned, I'm curious to see how NITI AAYOG is applying their
Yeah.
innovative approach to specific areas like agriculture.
Well, in agriculture, they're really championing
Okay.
something called zero-budget natural farming.
Zero budget farming, that sounds amazing.
It is a fascinating concept.
But is it really possible to grow crops without spending anything?
It's not about literally spending 0 rupees,
Right.
but it's about minimizing those external inputs
Okay.
and really creating a self-sustaining ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
on your farm. So think of it like this.
Okay.
Instead of buying chemical fertilizers, you're using cow dung
Right.
and other organic matter to really enrich the soil.
Okay.
Instead of spraying pesticides,
Mm.
you're attracting beneficial insects to control pests naturally.
So it's about working with nature, not against it. I love that.
Exactly.
But what about situations where farmers might need external help? Like if their livestock gets sick?
Well, NITI AAYOG has developed a really cool platform
Okay.
called NITI that brings the power of telemedicine
Oh, wow.
to the veterinary sector. So farmers, especially those in remote areas, can now connect with qualified veterinarians online.
So it's like a virtual vet clinic.
Absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
a game changer for farmers who might not have easy access to veterinary care.
Exactly. And speaking of access,
Yeah.
NITI AAYOG is also working to empower farmer producer organizations, or FPOs.
Right, because there's strength in numbers. So what's NITI AAYOG doing
Yeah.
to support these FPOs?
They're providing training,
Okay.
facilitating access to credit, and helping them connect with markets.
So they can actually sell their products.
The goal is to help these FPOs become more efficient and profitable.
Okay.
So they can really play a bigger role in boosting farmers' incomes and driving agricultural growth.
I see. So it's about supporting farmers at all levels.
Yes.
From individual smallholders to these larger collectives. It's that holistic approach again.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned data earlier. How does NITI AAYOG's focus on data translate into concrete action?
Well, they've created something called the National Data and Analytics Platform,
Okay.
or NDAP for short.
Yeah.
It's a groundbreaking initiative
Right.
that aims to make government data much more accessible
Yep.
and usable for everyone.
So instead of having all this valuable data
Right.
locked away in government silos,
Yeah,
they're making it available to the public.
exactly. Researchers, policymakers, journalists, even regular citizens.
Wow.
Anyone can access this platform
Right.
and find the data they need.
That's great.
And it's not just raw data dumps.
Okay.
It's presented in a very user-friendly way,
right.
with visualizations and tools to help you make sense of it all.
That's fantastic. I can already imagine all the amazing things
Yeah.
people could do with this kind of access to information.
Exactly.
But let's talk about a specific sector.
Okay.
How is NITI AAYOG using data to improve education?
Well, they have a flagship initiative called SATH, which stands for Supporting Aspirational Districts Through Holistic Transformation.
Okay.
Remember those 112 aspirational districts we talked about earlier?
Right. The ones that are lagging behind in development.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, AAYOG is specifically focused on improving education outcomes in those districts.
Okay.
They're using data to identify the biggest challenges,
Okay.
track progress,
Right.
and develop those targeted interventions.
So it's not just about building more schools.
Right.
It's about understanding the specific needs
Yeah.
of each district and tailoring solutions accordingly.
Precisely. They're focusing on things like teacher training,
Okay.
improving school infrastructure,
Mm-hmm.
promoting digital literacy,
Okay.
and even encouraging community involvement in education.
Oh, wow.
They've also developed a school readiness program
Oh, wow.
to make sure children are prepared for school,
Oh,
both academically and emotionally.
wow. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're really taking a comprehensive approach to improving education in those areas. But education is just one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
What about preparing people for the future of work
Yeah.
with all the rapid changes in technology and the job market?
That's where their focus on skill development, labor, and employment comes in.
Okay.
They're working to make sure people have the skills they need to thrive in this rapidly changing economy.
So things like vocational training apprenticeships,
Yeah,
digital skills development, that sort of thing.
exactly. And they're also working on policies
Okay.
to create more flexible labor markets,
Mm-hmm.
promote entrepreneurship,
Right.
and ensure social security for workers.
Okay.
So they're really trying to anticipate the challenges of the future
Yeah.
and equip people with the skills and support they need to succeed.
That's great to hear.
Hey.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that's becoming increasingly important,
Yeah,
electric mobility.
right.
What role is NITI playing in accelerating India's transition to electric vehicles?
They're actually leading the charge in many ways.
Okay.
One of their most notable initiatives is the Shunya campaign.
Shunya as in zero emissions.
You got it.
Okay.
They're working with e-commerce companies, logistics providers, and delivery platforms to really encourage the adoption of electric vehicles for that last mile delivery.
So instead of those noisy, polluting delivery trucks and scooters,
Yeah,
we'll be seeing more and more electric vehicles zipping around our cities.
exactly. And it's not just about swapping out vehicles.
Right.
They're also working on creating that necessary infrastructure,
Right.
like charging stations and battery swapping facilities.
That makes sense. You need the whole ecosystem in place
You do.
for electric mobility to really take off.
Yeah.
But what about public transportation?
Mm-hmm.
Are there any initiatives to promote electric buses?
Absolutely. AAYOG played a key role in launching the National Electric Bus Program,
Okay.
which is already making a significant impact. They're working with cities across India
Okay.
to help them transition their bus fleets to electric,
Right.
making public transportation cleaner, quieter, and more sustainable.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It seems like they're really pushing for a greener,
They are.
more sustainable India. And I'm guessing this ties into their work
It does.
on environment and climate change.
Absolutely. NITI is deeply involved in developing strategies
Oh.
to mitigate climate change and promote sustainable development.
So what are some of their key initiatives in this area? Tell me they're doing something
Yeah.
about plastic pollution.
They're big proponents of the circular economy,
Okay.
which is all about reducing waste, reusing resources,
Right.
and creating a closed loop system where nothing goes to waste.
I like it.
They've launched several initiatives
Okay.
to promote recycling waste management and the development of eco-friendly products.
That's great to hear. So they're tackling the problem from multiple angles,
Yes.
not just focusing on reducing emissions, but also on how we produce and consume things.
Exactly. They understand that sustainability is not just about environmental protection.
Right.
It's about creating a more equitable and resilient society for everyone.
I love that holistic perspective.
Yeah.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground already,
Yeah, we have.
but I know there's still more to come.
There is.
What's next on our deep dive adventure?
Next, we'll explore NITI's work
Okay.
in promoting healthcare innovation,
Mhm.
supporting small businesses,
Okay.
and fostering a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship.
Right.
Get ready for some inspiring examples of how they're shaping the future of India.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear more. Okay, I'm ready to hear more about how NITI is supporting healthcare innovation
Okay.
in small businesses. Where do we start?
Well, healthcare is a major focus for NITI,
Okay.
especially with the rising burden of non-communicable diseases.
Right. Those are becoming major health challenges in India.
They are.
So what are they doing to address this?
They're promoting a shift towards preventative healthcare,
Okay.
focusing on early detection and management of these conditions. One interesting initiative is the Kabi High program,
Okay.
which stands for Community-Based Hypertension Control Program.
So instead of waiting for people to get sick and then seeking treatment,
Right.
they're trying to catch these conditions early on.
Exactly. Kabi High empowers community health workers to actually screen people for hypertension at the local level.
Okay.
So this means people can get diagnosed and started on treatment much earlier,
Right.
preventing complications down the line.
That's a fantastic way to reach people.
Yeah,
Especially in rural areas where access to healthcare can be limited.
absolutely.
What about innovations in medical technology? Is AAYOG involved in that space?
Absolutely. They've launched something called the MedTech Mitra platform,
MedTech Mitra. Okay.
which aims to bridge the gaps in medical technology innovation.
So what does that mean in practice? What kind of gaps are they trying to bridge?
Well, India has a lot of talented researchers and innovators
Yeah.
developing cutting-edge medical technologies, but sometimes they struggle to get their products to market.
Right.
So MedTech Mitra connects these innovators
Okay.
with hospitals, investors, and regulatory bodies, helping them to navigate that complex process
Right.
of bringing new medical devices and treatments to patients.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
It's creating a whole ecosystem for medical innovation,
it is.
which could lead to some incredible breakthroughs.
Absolutely.
I'm really impressed with how NITI AAYOG is thinking outside the box
Yeah.
to improve healthcare in India. Now, what about those small businesses you mentioned?
Right. Well, small businesses are the backbone of the Indian economy, and NITI AAYOG is committed to supporting their growth.
Okay.
One way they're doing this is by promoting entrepreneurship, especially among women and youth.
So encouraging people to start their own businesses.
Exactly. They have several programs
So
that provide training, mentorship, and access to funding.
for aspiring entrepreneurs,
Okay.
they're also working to improve the ease of doing business
Right.
by simplifying regulations and creating a more supportive environment
Okay.
for small businesses.
That's great to hear. But what about those traditional artisans and craftspeople who might not be, tech-savvy entrepreneurs?
Right. NITI AAYOG hasn't forgotten them.
Okay.
They've launched the PM Vishwakarma scheme,
Okay.
which is specifically designed to empower artisans and craftspeople.
What does that scheme entail?
So it provides financial assistance,
Okay.
skill development opportunities, and market access support to help these artisans upgrade their skills, modernize their businesses,
Right.
and connect with a wider customer base.
So it's a way to preserve traditional crafts
Yes,
while also helping artisans thrive in a modern economy.
exactly.
That's a fantastic initiative. It seems like NITI AAYOG is really trying to create opportunities for everyone, regardless of their background or skill set.
Now, you mentioned earlier that they're also involved in urban development.
Right.
What are they doing in that space?
So they recognize that cities are these engines of economic growth,
Yeah,
but they also face a lot of unique challenges.
right. Those are issues that affect all of us who live in cities.
Exactly. So NITI AAYOG is working with cities to develop much more sustainable and inclusive urban development plans.
Right.
One of their key initiatives is the City Region Growth Hub Initiative.
City Region Growth Hub. That's a mouthful. What does that involve?
It's a pilot project
Okay.
where they're working with 4 major city regions,
Okay.
Mumbai, Surat, Visakhapatnam, and Varanasi,
Wow.
to promote integrated planning and development.
So they're looking at the entire region, not just the city itself,
Right.
and trying to create a more balanced and sustainable approach to urban growth.
Precisely. They're trying to create a more holistic vision
Okay.
for urban development, one that benefits everyone,
Yeah.
not just those living in the city center. Now shifting gears again. Let's talk about innovation and entrepreneurship.
Right.
NITI AAYOG has a dedicated ADL Innovation Mission, or AIM, right?
Yes, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing some really cool things
They are.
to foster a culture of innovation in India.
Absolutely. AIM has a range of programs
Right.
designed to promote innovation at all levels, from school children to startup founders.
Oh,
One of their most popular initiatives is the ADL Tinkering Labs,
okay.
which are being set up in schools across the country.
Those are the labs where kids can experiment and build things, right?
Exactly. They're like mini maker spaces,
Okay.
equipped with 3D printers, robotics kits,
Oh.
and all sorts of other cool tools that allow students to tinker, experiment, and bring their ideas to life. It's about igniting a passion for STEM from a young age.
That's fantastic. It's about planting those seeds of innovation early on.
It is.
But what about those who are ready to take their ideas to the next level
Right.
and start their own businesses?
AIM has programs for them, too.
Okay.
They have ADL Incubation Centers, or AICs,
Okay.
that provide support for startups, things like funding mentorship, access to networks, co-working spaces.
So it's like a nurturing environment for startups to grow and thrive.
Exactly. They're trying to create a vibrant startup ecosystem in India,
Okay.
one that encourages risk-taking, supports innovation, and helps turn those bright ideas into successful businesses.
Wow. I have to say, I'm incredibly impressed with everything NITI AAYOG is doing. It's clear they're playing a crucial role in shaping India's future.
They are.
But before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more thing, the Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay.
You mentioned earlier that NITI AAYOG is the nodal agency
Yes.
for monitoring SDG progress in India. Can you tell us more about that?
Absolutely. So the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs, are a set of 17 global goals.
Right. I've heard about those. They cover everything from ending poverty and hunger to promoting education and gender equality to tackling climate change and protecting our oceans.
Exactly. They're a pretty ambitious set of goals, but they're crucial for ensuring a better future for everyone.
Right.
So NITI AAYOG is responsible for tracking India's progress towards these goals, coordinating efforts across different ministries and sectors, and developing strategies to accelerate progress.
So they're like the SDG command center for India.
You could say that they're also working to raise awareness about the SDGs and encourage everyone to play their part in achieving them.
That's fantastic. So what does this all mean for us,
Right.
the everyday citizens? Why should we care about what NITI AAYOG is doing?
NITI AAYOG's work touches every aspect of our lives. The food we eat, the air we breathe, the education our children receive, the health care we access, the jobs we have, the cities we live in.
Wow.
They're working tirelessly to create a better India for all of us.
It's inspiring to see such a dedicated and innovative organization working to solve some of India's biggest challenges.
Yeah.
I have to say, this deep dive into the NITI AAYOG annual report has been an eye-opening experience.
It's been a pleasure sharing these insights with you.
Well, listeners, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the NITI AAYOG annual report. We hope you found it as fascinating and inspiring as we did.
And remember, NITI AAYOG's work is ultimately about creating a better future for all of us.
Yeah.
So stay informed, get involved, and let's all do our part to make that vision a reality.
That's a fantastic message to end on. Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
Thank you.
And until next time, keep those minds curious and keep seeking knowledge.